625,000. I know the numbers now.
600 minutes.
How do you measure
Keep going.
seasons of love?
Nearly had it. She almost got there. Oh, baby. There was a fair attempt. I'll give you that. It was a fair attempt.
Better than my
All right, folks. Welcome back to the program we got going here called Rachel's Never Seen. I'm Drew. That's
I'm
Rachel. One day we'll coordinate that. Do we know who's going to talk during that point? Because
it changes every week.
It does. It really does. And we are in musical March. And we are first one out of the gate is Rent from 2005. This is one of my favorite musicals all the way around. I absolutely love this musical. The first exposure I ever had to it was the film from 2005. I knew nothing of it beforehand other than other theater kids and stuff just talking about a show called Rent. I had no idea what it was about, anything like that.
Right.
So when I went and saw it, it moved me to tears. Still does to this day. I think the message in it is incredible. Of just loving to love, letting that overcome any obstacle that you have in your way or anything that's happening to you or to anyone else.
I was going to ask you, I had a hard time kind of pinpoint, like if you were to ask me, what is this movie about?
Right.
I would have had a hard time pinpointing it down, but my heart did a little skip jump there when you're like, it's about love. And I'm like, yeah, you're right. It is about love. Because I'm like, is it about this group of friends? Would I say it's about the HIV/AIDS epidemic? What is it about? But I think you nailed it when you said it's about love.
Right. It is. It's about all kinds of love too. Mm-hmm. Good love,
platonic love, romantic love,
yes.
Toxic love.
All of it is there. And it explores it, I think, without reservation, which I think is good and necessary.
These are all like things I wrote down.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
No. I mean, I'm agreeing. It's good. I'm like agreeing with you. I really like the characters just kind of showed up as they were.
Correct.
There was no judgment. You're a junkie.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's okay. We love you.
Right.
I did struggle with. I didn't see them as very good friends, trying to push Roger and Mimi together when Mimi was still struggling with her addiction issues and Roger had been clean for, a year or so.
Yeah.
I thought that was just a poor judgment call because it would have been so easy for Roger to relapse being around it.
Yeah, and I think even, obviously Roger himself tried to help Mimi and whatnot, as you really see during the Without You, and you really see the dissolution of their relationship, really based on her drug addiction and just her inability to kick it. And addiction's addiction. It's a terrible thing.
It's terrible. It is not.
It affects us all in different ways. I think every single person in the world is addicted to something. There is something. Now, whether that addiction truly gets you to a toxic level in your life or is just something, a simple passing fancy, I think we're just wired that way as humans, that we get addicted to things.
It's much easier to do a line of Coke or grab a fast food meal than it is to look and address your emotional problems, because that hurts. It hurts to do that.
Absolutely. So, I agree with you that to an extent, I think they try as friends to push that relationship for both of them having their problems. Hers, obviously, her addiction. Him not being able to let go of a past relationship, and basically any demon I think he had, his addiction helped mask, as most do.
Right.
And him still trying to figure that out and not allowing himself to be happy. He's not allowing himself to do that again. It's almost his punishment for himself for being addicted as he was.
Like, I don't deserve to have this happiness in my life. And then also the fact that a person is not going to change unless they want to, unless they are ready to. No matter how much you try and persuade them, they have to hit rock bottom and realize I need this is not working anymore.
Correct. I agree 100%.
So,
And that's the kind of heavy things this show deals with. But it does it in a way I think that is very entertaining. The music in the show I really like because it's a mixture of different kinds of genres and stuff.
it really is. It's all over the place.
Yeah, there's some good rock. There's some classical kind of Broadway style show stuff in there. It's really of its era, taking place in the late 80s, 89.
The second song sounded like an emo song. It started like an emo song.
The
Roger's song, or I don't know.
Oh no, Roger's song. You mean the One Song Glory?
Yeah, One Song Glory. It started like
I was
an emo
thinking that
song.
too. Honestly, when I was listening to it, I was like, she's gonna dig this
I
song
did. I was like,
because
hey, I like this. Sounds
'cause
like
this
sounds
song's-
like the music I listen to.
I would be surprised if there's not an emo band who hasn't covered that thing because it would really it fits.
It would work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Roger was just unfortunately born just about a decade too soon.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
Poor guy. I wrote down, explain how the camera works. And I don't remember why. It was sometime after the subway scene.
Talking about his camera,
Oh, yeah. That's what it was. Explain
like
how
Mark's
that works.
camera.
He has to wind it up, but that only gives him a
Certain amount of time to record the exposures. You know, I mean, think of an actual film camera like a still film camera. You're still exposing film to light and stuff like that. So you wind it to allow your motor to continue running and stuff to generate, the battery power in it to crank it, and it moves through and it goes through, exposes, and when it's done, you just pull it out and develop it.
So is there only a set number? Can you continuously wind it and it will
You
continuously
can do that.
have the energy?
Yes.
Okay.
If you have a longer take,
so it's
you can do
not
that.
like you can only wind it for 2 minutes and then you have 8 minutes to film.
Correct.
You can keep going.
Correct. Yes.
That's okay. That's what I was trying
people
to
that used to be their jobs, like in Hollywood. Like their cameras weren't like those small ones; they're the big giant ones. And there was a guy there doing this.
While someone else
while the actual camera operator is operating the camera, moving it around and changing. And then you have back in the day, like you didn't have autofocus, so you had a focus puller who sat there and just
that's wild.
They still have them to this day, a focus puller that they map out the scene and they know where their focus needs to go, and they use the numbers of the focus, not the f-stops, it's your iris, but they use those focal lengths and numbers and click it along and go as they want, so that it's that smooth transition in and out.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
That's amazing. Angel and Collins are just adorable.
Aren't they?
I love them so much.
They're an amazing couple. They're so good, and it's so sad that they only got a year to be with each other and really only got good maybe 6 to 7 months out of it before Angel went downhill.
Yeah. So how many people in that group were HIV positive?
That's kind of the running joke of the show is the who in this group isn't either gay or has HIV, and the joke is like you would think Mark would fall into one of those two categories just as a character, and he's the only one who doesn't fit in either category.
Okay.
I mean, technically Benny doesn't, but to me Benny's kind of an outsider.
No,
in the show, he's much more involved as a friend. Like you can see more friendship aspects of it here, but definitely in the film, he's plays almost more of a villain kind of role. He's a soft villain, but he's a villain nonetheless. And he's not quite as villainous in the show. Let's see. Collins, Angel, and Roger and Mimi all have HIV.
Okay.
Joanne's gay, Collins is gay, Angel's gay, Maureen's not trans, bi.
I would say Angel is trans.
Angel is trans.
And I was okay. So Benny, did he and Mimi end up dating at the end?
So in the movie, to me, it's implied that they are together. Like he is cheating on his wife with Mimi.
That's what.
In the show, it is not implied like that. It is implied that they had dated, as it is in the movie. but that they weren't actually together, that she was like reaching out to him for help, like he was the only one that could help.
Yeah.
And I do believe at the end of the movie or the show, Benny does leave Allison. Like he, it builds to that, hey, we're all friends again, that classic kind of Broadway happy ending. Even though Angel still dies, it still builds to that kind of happy ending.
Reconciliation.
Yeah.
Their breath looked like it was fake. The CGI, did they CGI their breath?
It was CGI breath.
I hated that.
Yeah.
I hated it. Just
yeah.
throw that out
they
there.
did it because they shot the movie in the summer in Los Angeles and New York and somewhere else. Yeah.
I thought it wasn't. I didn't think it was necessary.
Yeah, I think the only time it wasn't fake was during I'll Cover You, between Collins and Angel after the subway ride. That was shot in the winter in New York City, and it was their breath was legitimate during
maybe
that.
it was a continuity thing, but you could
you could tell.
I think it took away from.
Yeah, you could tell. It's a nitpicky thing because it's damned if you do, damned if you don't.
I know, and that's why I'm not upset about it.
Yeah.
But like, it was definitely distracting for me. I did not like it.
Yeah.
Speaking of actually seeing Mimi at the end, it was like dying, and then suddenly can do a full song.
Sing pretty good.
Yeah. But I thought she was going. I did think she was going to die, and I loved that she saw Angel and was like, "Go listen to that boy's song."
Turn around, girl, and go listen to that boy's song. No, the ending kills me every time. It's just so beautiful. And I love that. It seems almost like a little bit of a cop-out ending, that it's like she doesn't die right there, but she does kind of get this brief reprieve to the Angel's just like, turn around and go back. Mm-hmm. And what really hurts me when I watch it, what really ends up making me tear up and cry usually when I see the end of this movie or show, is not so much of reflecting on Angel's death and seeing Angel there at the end, and it's knowing that Mimi probably isn't going to make it for the next year.
Yeah, I never thought of that.
If she was that close and that bad off, she more than likely did irreparable damage to herself.
Yeah.
And is not going to make it through a year. And so my heart kind of breaks for that they're still going to get, much like Collins and Angel, they get this love. But, even though you knew it was it was borrowed time anyway because of both of their, HIV statuses. Right. The fact that hers is going to be, drastically shorter because of the run she just went on, and clearly being homeless and living out in the cold and getting strung out is not helping anything. So that's what ultimately really, because again, it's about love, and it's just like they're going to make the best of this.
That's what I was going to say. Love it. Last week's film taught us anything. It's to be loved and loved in return. Yeah. I can't remember my line.
Good job, Toulouse.
I get the Hamilton I Know thing. I think I read once that the I Know was based on this musical. Yeah. So I appreciate that a little bit more.
Yeah.
AZT is the HIV drug.
Correct.
Okay.
That was the first big HIV drug in the 80s. AZT.
It's interesting that I haven't gotten emotional on any of these films that we've watched.
Mm-hmm.
Because I really liked this quote that I don't own emotions, I rent them, is that I am a very emotional person, and I can get hung up on those sometimes. So if I'm just renting them, it means they're not permanent. So
right.
I like that perspective a lot.
I feel like...
But I'm just not emotional on any of these movies.
And I'm okay with that because I feel like there's something... I feel like you're going into them a bit clinical, and that's that's not a knock.
I'm going into them with an analytical mindset.
To watch these and experience them.
Yeah.
I think so. Let's take Moulin Rouge from last week, which really had an impact on you.
Yes.
While you may not have felt those emotions or anything like that the first time you watched it, even though you acknowledge that they're there, afterwards, has it impacted you like that emotionally? When you listen to these songs again, when you rewatch it, you start to connect better with that film.
Yes.
That's the point.
I told you when we tried to watch this, I'm like, I just want to watch Moulin Rouge again.
Yeah.
So I don't know why you showed that to me the first. Technically, it wasn't even part of musical
Right.
March, but I understand. But like, you never should have showed that to me first. It's a hard act to follow.
It's the bar for everything else. Yeah. But that's
but you're
my
right.
take.
I did the second time we watched it. I was like, oh, I'm gonna cry now.
Yeah.
And, yeah.
I think
cry now.
Yeah. But I think that's what it is. I think that's what it is.
I think that's
this first time around, you're going into it cold. Mm-hmm. You're numb, as it were, to going.
Well, this
into
one,
it.
we talked about it. I remember taking this film home and like watching it in high school when I was homesick or something with the flu. I remember that. I just could not. I don't remember anything about the film, obviously, except the 500. Everyone knows that song.
It's
a
signature song from the show.
Signature song. Yeah. So, like, disclaimer: I've probably have seen some of this, but it was when I was fever dreaming. So
right, you couldn't put anything together on it. If I asked you what it was about, you would go, "I don't know." It's about minutes. It's about minutes and paying rent. Is that it? Yeah. You have a year to pay your rent. Is that what it is? I don't know.
Yeah. But
no, it's that's my takeaway from you
I think
on that.
that's it. That's what I was leaning towards too. I'm just going into these movies like with a more analytical mindset, which isn't necessarily a bad thing, but I definitely would connect with them after watching them.
Right.
Connect with them emotionally more.
Yeah.
Watching
them you have a better understanding what to expect now. Yeah. And I think you can allow yourself to go into where these characters are. And that's something that's affected me the more I've watched this movie over time. And the show is I get myself, I can find myself in these characters and their situations. Like this one really hit me this time around because I'm now in a relationship that I do know what love is right now. And I start putting myself in those situations. Mm-hmm. Like, if I was Collins and having to watch what happened to Angel happen to you, see?
You're going to break my heart.
Like, things like that help me
appreciate
it. Absolutely. And that's what it takes. Yeah. That's the takeaway I get from this thing. There's the
greatest thing you'll ever learn is to be loved. Is just to love and be loved in return.
Correct.
There we go.
That's it.
Nailed it
right at the end of the play, just like Toulouse. You found it and you figured it out.
Yeah. No, but I agree. It does. It makes me like appreciate because one of my favorite quotes is, I've been in relationships before. You've been in relationships before, and I think I read it in like a Huffington Post article or something. What I thought of love was like calling a puddle the ocean. And
yes.
So now I love you.
And I love you. And like I said, it really struck me even more watching this now because I can definitely equate to where these characters are at now in my life, and it takes a whole new meaning. So it's a fun show. It really is. La Vie Boheme is an incredible number.
I did. So I felt like there were a lot of correlations too with Moulin Rouge and this. The Bohemian lifestyle. There was the tango. Each of them had the tango song. The sickness. Obviously, it was like one person sick, but I don't know. There were a lot of parallels I saw. Maybe it was just because we had watched that the last week. Yeah.
I didn't notice them until we had watched this again that there was those kinds of parallels. The numbers in this show are just incredible to me. Obviously Seasons of Love is the iconic song from this whole show, and it's actually the opening to the second act of the show. They moved it to the front of this one in the film. Okay. They just moved it up there as kind of a setter to just show you these characters. These are the ones you're going to be introduced to and follow. But yeah, it comes after La Vie Boheme, which is the Act 1 closing. Yeah.
I like that song a lot.
Yeah. La Vie Boheme in both of its parts, part 1 and 2, because you have the duet between Roger and Mimi in between that kind of interrupts it. But both those songs are just they're incredible. They're energetic. They have that nice defiance in them. They really help define their characters. Everyone gets a moment in that thing, and then you have like Take Me or Leave Me between Joanne and Maureen, which is an incredible song.
Yeah.
And watching those two have the most beautiful fight you could have because the harmonies between their voices are so great. Both those actresses are amazing.
Who played Joanne?
Tracy Toms, I believe
cute.
is her name. She's amazing.
She's beautiful.
Yeah, she really is. This was her kind of breakout role movie-wise.
Yeah.
That's another thing. Oh, go ahead.
I would say the Tango Marine. I like that. I don't know. Apparently, I'm really into tangos right now.
I'm not going to learn tango for a wedding. I'm just going to throw that out there. I'm not doing that. So we have enough like small things to get done. I don't want to put memorizing a song on there. See?
Why did we wait so long to do things? Because we didn't know.
Because we didn't know. Because of COVID. Thanks, COVID.
Anyways.
So yeah, there's Tango Maureen is a great song, but the thing I was going to tell you, everyone except for Tracy Toms and Rosario Dawson of the core characters are all the original Broadway performers. They got them all. The only two who couldn't do it, I can't think of her name, but the actress who played Joanne just said she felt she was too old to play the role. Now she was just like, I feel like I'm too old to play this role, so they cast someone else. And then oh god, I'm gonna screw her name up. I think her name was Daphne Rubin Vega is who played Mimi, and she couldn't do it because she was, I think, either pregnant or she was at another commitment, like she was going to be filming something else somewhere else and could not come back to do the role. She also felt like she may have been a bit too old to play the character. That
Rosario Dawson could sing.
And she can sing. This is the movie that I fell head over heels for Rosario Dawson. I was just like, oh my gosh, she's got that voice too. And it's like, that's just not fair. Like,
I told you.
She's so talented.
Yeah.
But yeah, so pretty much the original Broadway cast was brought back to do this, which is pretty cool. So, your overall rating on this film?
7.5.
7.5. That's a good run. That's a good run.
I was trying to refrain. I'll probably go back and listen to the soundtrack now that we've discussed it. I didn't really want you to catch me listen to it,
right?
Because I try not to give anything away.
We try not to, yeah. We try.
I try. Didn't work last week.
No, last week was rough. Moulin Rouge got a lot of talk.
Yeah.
But 7.5.
Yeah, but I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Everyone gave a strong performance. I thought it kept me entertained throughout it, even through the heavy parts, and I didn't have too many complaints about it, except that stupid CGI breath.
Well, at one point we'll watch the Broadway version, and we don't have to do it for this channel if we don't want to, but we'll watch the Broadway version, which you'll see the differences. They're significant and yet insignificant. It's a really odd thing, but that's cool. Well, I'm glad you liked it, baby. I really am. So we'll see you here next week with another musical. I can't remember it off the top of my head, so that's why I'm not going to plug it right now. And there you go. We'll see you next week, folks.